Cons and Ferris High School Sports Show. I'm Jeff DiVeronica with Steve Bradley, and on our specialties Skype hotline, Mike Fusare, coach of Penfield boys volleyball, and Parker Jackson, the senior outside hitter for the Division I state champions, the Patriots, winning their third title in 5 years. Pretty amazing stuff. And Coach Fusare, it's been a crazy 20 months in the world. If I'd gone back a year ago now, would you say this team had what it took to maybe win a state championship if we got back to state championships again? Did you think this team had this kind of potential?
I did, and it really kind of galvanized in my mind when we go on a 3-day camping trip to Stony Brook State Park, and I knew at that point there was something special about this group because they were really good to each other, and I think that that's a really undervalued part of coaching, is making sure there's team chemistry like that. And these guys really, really played for each other all year.
Parker, just to build on Coach's point, did you feel that connection, and what made the connection special?
Absolutely. I mean, just being able to be with those guys. I mean, we go back to Stony Brook. I mean, it's just awesome to see, like, to the togetherness on the court and off. I mean, I just enjoy spending time with those guys.
Coach, is that a trip that you've made in the past for team building, or is that something you thought you needed to do because of COVID?
I've been doing it for 21 years. I couldn't take them in the springtime, obviously, because of COVID, but every other year we've gone for 3 days to do we do a lot of team building activities down there with the kids. And I think that's a big step in the right direction, merging the younger players with the older players and getting to know each other. I think it's a big part of our success.
Mike, how did that connection carry over onto the court?
They always had each other's backs, no matter the circumstance. We had a really, really difficult match out in Orchard Park, for example, at the Far Western Regional, and they stayed composed in the face of such adversity. I can't even begin to tell you how tough that match was, and they just stay together. They never wilt, and they always seem to pick each other up.
Parker, what was that match? Before we get to the state Final Four on November 20th, what was the match against Orchard Park like? I mean, was that as tense as it's ever been for you guys?
It's one of the tensest moments I've ever had. I mean, you just think about the crowd there. It was wild, and you're down a whole lot in the first set and many times throughout that match, and you just got to play to the point, not the scoreboard, and you just got to keep pushing. And, and that's how we pull games out. We just stay together and keep pushing.
Coach, Parker mentioned it in our little pre-interview that this team was very balanced and that a lot of players could do a lot of things. Is that an accurate assessment of the strength of this team? Is you had a lot of guys who could do a lot of things well?
Yeah, and I think that there are a lot of teams that we saw over the course of the year. They had heavy reliance on one player, and this group, the distribution by our setter Matt Carpin was such that teams really couldn't try to take away one aspect of our team. The final is a perfect example of that. My middles one had 18 kills, one had 12, and then the two outsides had 12 and 11 in the final. And that's pretty good distribution of the ball. So they couldn't take any one part of us away, which I think was a big part of their success.
Let's name some of these guys here real quick. Andrew Ludwig, 12 kills, 4 blocks. Will Kirchhoff, 18 kills, 3 blocks in the state final. And with 12 kills, last name Delasante, first name College hero.
Charlie, or we call him Chuck, but it's Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie. Okay.
Yeah.
And Parker added 11 kills, and he said Matt Carpin, 50 assists in the championship match. That was against Smithtown West.
Yes.
Won the first set 25-20, lost 22-25. Then a couple of great sets, 26-24 and 25-20. I guess after you get evened up, Parker, one set apiece, what's the thought process like? What are you guys feeling as you go and start that third set?
Well, we knew in that second set we were not playing our best volleyball, so we just kept getting back to our game, serve and pass. I mean, we kept passing, kept hitting, kept playing defense, just being tenacious and aggressive with our offense. and just, again, keep pushing it out, play to the point.
Steve Bradley, can you take us to break, young man?
I will do my best. And when we come back on the other side, we'll ask Coach Fusare what makes Section 5 volleyball so tough. You're watching the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show on Rock Sports Now.
I'm a biomedical sciences major. My goal is to one day open up my own pediatric office. I want to create an environment almost similar to the environment that Roberts creates for me. I want them to walk into the doctor's office and feel love. When I got here, I was just like, yeah, this is home. This is where I need to be. Be prepared for an adventure, be prepared for a journey, and enjoy the journey.
Started on the spot cleaners in 2001. I saw that my kids were crawling on the carpets and I thought, what is in these carpets? Later that year in the fall, I started to notice my daughter's allergies peak. After some allergy testing, we realized there'd be a benefit to having our ducts cleaned. As a business owner, we took the certification necessary, performed the service in our home, and immediately saw results and thought this is going to be fantastic for our business and our customers. The duct cleaning process uses a HEPA filtration vacuum that will draw air through the ductwork. We have truck-mounted air compressors that blow whips and rods through the ductwork to move and dislodge the debris. We apply an antimicrobial treatment for odor and bacteria when we're completed. We protect your furnace with zone bags so that way no debris will fall over the furnace heat exchangers. The benefits of air duct cleaning is pretty simple. Your indoor air quality traps a lot of dust and allergens. Once we're done with the cleaning, you have a cleaner, fresher home.
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
The College Dollar is a local company that gives parents the information they need to help their children make good decisions about their college choice. With more than 10 years of experience, the College Dollar has been helping families understand the complexities of paying for college without overwhelming debt and what to do when it's time to pay back college loans. With college debt reaching $1.85 trillion, everyone needs help. Visit thecollegedollar.com and connect for a free 15-minute conversation about saving you college dollars. And consider attending one of their upcoming seminars to hear the inside scoop on scholarships, grants, and loans.
Baby, sweet baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Steve Bradley and Jeff DiVeronica joined on the Special Tees Hotline by state champions Penfield boys volleyball, Coach Mike Fusare and senior hitter Parker Jackson. Coach, we talked about going to the break about Section 5 volleyball having such a dominance. Only 1 year since the state tournament has started, the state champion has not come from Section 5. Why is the volleyball here so good?
Well, I was thinking about that as we were heading into the break, and I think there's a couple reasons. There's a very strong club connection in this area. There are a few clubs, Hot Shots and Pace Bootlegger in particular, that really get lots of boys involved, and I think that's part of it. But I think that's also in other parts of the state. I think another reason might be the longevity of a lot of the coaches in the area. I think about Greg Kennedy at Webster and Chris Parks, and there are many coaches that have had their team for many years in the area and have invested themselves in making these programs strong. And, taking, it is a very difficult area to get out of, but it is really, to be honest with you, I was very impressed with Orchard Park in the Far West Regional and very impressed with Smithtown and Columbia. They were excellent volleyball teams. I really think that the big reason why might be the coaching in this area. I think is really exceptional. I think there's a lot of really great coaches.
It's a transition right to ask Parker. This is coach's. It was his 26th season. He's going to retire as a physical education teacher in about 200 days, give or take. Have to check his phone. But what makes him such a special coach? I know he's got great attention to detail, but you tell me, from being inside that locker, what makes him such a special coach?
I mean, he's the coach that really cares. You can see it every day. He loves being around us. He loves spending time with us. I mean, we go back to Stony Brook again. He's there creating a bond with us while we also create a bond with him and the rest of the guys. And, I mean, he just gives us our all. He gives his all to us, and we give our all to him.
So Mike, kind of building off of the coaching piece that you mentioned in Section 5 volleyball, but the players, right? Our volleyball player, how much do you as an elementary phys ed teacher look for potential players and where do they come from? I mean, because it takes so much to be a good volleyball player, the athleticism, the timing, the quickness, all, and you've got some guys that are, really tall doing this too. So how do you find a good volleyball player and then how do you get them to play?
He predicts the growth spurt when they're in third grade.
Yeah, I would honestly tell you, we start with the balloons in kindergarten, but we won't get that involved. Well, I don't know. It's really, you hope to see. I mean, I'm only at one elementary school at 4, so you hope to see the kids kind of get the bug when they go into middle school. And I talk to the middle school teachers. I'll go up every now and then and ask about kids. And, I never want to cross sports. If the kid's already playing a sport, I stay away from those kids. But I'm just interested in kids and seeing whether or not they get the bug for volleyball. And we do a recreation program in Penfield in the wintertime. It's on Saturday mornings. I know Parker was an attendee at that when he was little. And you hope to give them enough of a piece of it that they say, hey, this is something for me. My son played for me back in 2017 and 18, and we merged with Honey Falls. I don't know if you remember that, Jeff, so he could play up in Penfield. We were a merged school so that any Honey Falls kids could try out. And I remember taking him to those rec things when he was little and having to drag him kicking and screaming. But then when he got there, he's like, you know what, Dad, I kind of like this. And he hung with it. And he was part of our state champions in 17, which is a real cool experience for me as a father too.
Parker, what's next for you? You're a senior. This program's always been in great shape. Do you want to play in college? Is that something you're pursuing?
Yeah, it's something I'm still looking into. I mean, the schools I've been looking at right now have club teams, but I've still been interested in playing D3 and at the college level. But I know I'm not giving up on volleyball. I just can't do that right now.
What do you love about it?
I mean, I just love, I don't know. It's just something about the game that just grabs you. And like Coach said, you just see those guys just come into the gym and just love it. And, it's just a part of me at this point. I love the game and I just love playing and being with friends and just pounding the volleyball sometimes.
Through all that happened during the pandemic and isolation and not going to school and not having sports, what was that right on getting the fire truck escort back through town like after winning sectionals?
I mean,
states.
It's nothing like it. I mean, you just see the other cars like move around the trucks, just not knowing what's going on, and then you see that the center of attention is you, and you brought this back to your school, and I don't know, it's just cool seeing everyone rallying around it at the school. Like there was so many people that were there after those fire trucks were home, and there was a little send off for us at school, and just seeing everyone like behind us is really cool.
Mike, how much does tradition play into your success?
I think a lot. really understand the tradition of this program until I got involved. My mentor was a gentleman named Chris Redding, who went on to coach collegiately at Alabama and Appalachian State and Charlotte. And I got in as the JV coach, and he really mentored me in. And then I started to understand how much it meant to the alumni. I still get emails and texts from the old Penfield coach prior to me, Jack Hunter, and I still hear from a lot of the alumni all over the country. They always watch this time of year wondering how we're doing, and they'll reach out and ask what's going on with the matches and such. And I think it's a big thing. I think that the kids are proud to be Penfield volleyball players, and that makes me feel good about the program.
Steve Bradley is our resident Penfield expert. And if we go back about 13 months, Steve, what do we got? Champions from Penfield.
Well, we hit boys soccer
baseball,
last fall.
Soccer.
Girls basketball. A lot of winning. I know it's dangerous, Jeff, because we'll forget somebody. I don't want to do that, but
So let me get to the question that Coach Fusare. Have coaches in Penfield known that this is going to be a good group of boys over the last 2-3 years, that this was going to be winning time, or does this surprise you at all?
Mark Vode, who's the girls basketball coach over here, said to me, when we were in the parking lot one day, he's my modified boys volleyball coach. He's one of them now, which is really great because he brings that energy to my young kids. But he said to me, he goes, I think there are going to be a lot of sectional champions this year. And he was right on. I mean, he hit the nail on the head. They see the athletes at the high school more than I do. I see my group of boys. But, I had a really, really great feeling about that team last spring that won, and a really great feeling about this group of boys. And really, like I said, those 3 days with them really helped me to understand how close they were and how I knew they were going to perform. I just knew. I had a really good feeling about them.
So, Parker,
Are you going to keep coaching, Coach Fusare? You're retiring from teaching.
I would like to.
Okay. I think they might have you. I think
I would hope so. The bug is still there. I mean, I said to the boys at one point that when I was a young coach, I wanted to win because I wanted to feel what it was like to be a champion. And then it kind of changed, and it was about wanting the kids to have that experience. And that's how it's been for probably the last 18 years. It's just been about making sure that they get that finish to their season.
And Parker, just to build off of what Coach said, tradition. He talked about how important it is to the alumni and to him. How about to you and the kids in school and leaving your own legacy and tradition with a state title? What does that mean to you?
I mean, it means a lot. At the modified level, when I was on modified, I was looking up to those guys, Jack Bickford, Jordan Solomon, a whole bunch of those guys. I mean, just seeing them go out and win. I mean, I just wanted one of those rings. And seeing Coach bring it down to the middle school when he was giving us a little, I don't know, like introduction to the next season at the high school, and he brought his 2 rings. I'm just in awe. I just want one of those.
Penfield, congratulations on another state championship. 3 in 5 years is pretty amazing. Parker, thanks for being on our program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Coach Fusare, as always, insightful. We appreciate it. Congrats on the retirement. You better not stop coaching. We need good coaches like you, all right?
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thanks for having us.
And before we close this segment, I always want to finally, Steve, I've been waiting all fall to say this. How in the world are Victor and Pittsford a combined team? There are not enough boys in either one of those districts to have their own team. It still boggles my mind. That better not be the case next fall. All right. We will end this segment. And thanks for watching us right here on the Cons and Ferris High School Sports Show on Rock Sports Now.